third month, when you're working through this structured approach, whether you're applying this yourself or whether you're having us apply it for you and with you, is planning. Failing to have a plan is like hopping in the car and not knowing where you're going. It's a really simple analogy, but it's a true one. Sure, you'll be getting somewhere, but where you're going, you might arrive somewhere really good, you might arrive somewhere really shit. If you don't know where you're going, you just wander around and you'll probably waste a few hours and then you'll come back and you really haven't achieved a lot. It's like a weekend drive. Sure, you might have a good time while you're doing it, but you really don't get anywhere. So a plan is essential, and I don't believe in these big, thick academic plans, which are a whole heap of waffle. Waffle with headings, I call it. If you've got one of those business plans sitting in the bottom drawer, you need to change it. You need to get what we call an action plan in place. Now, an action plan takes you through your objectives. So what is it that you're trying to achieve? Being really specific and targeted about your objectives. Then from your objectives, you know what you're trying to achieve specifically. How are you going to do that? What are the strategies that you're going to put in place? So that's the broad, this is what we're going to do. And then your actual actions come underneath that and then get assigned to people within your team, including yourself, to start ticking those off and getting them done. They have somebody responsible, they have a date to be done. That's how you make progress in business with a plan. Now, a lot of people say, oh, there's no point in having a plan, it's going to change. Well, welcome to life. We live in an era where change can happen in a heartbeat. Continual lockdowns of local government areas happen in a heartbeat. You find out that there's a positive COVID case and 2 days later that region is locked down for 7 days. Now, does that mean that the business plan that you did for the 12 months is now useless? No. Hopefully you had some contingencies in your plan for this year as to what you would do if you were locked down. So what I'm saying is that you've got to have these action plans in place, and sure, things will duck, things will weave, which is why you don't just print it out on a sheet of paper, put it in the bottom drawer and forget all about it. You've got to have something that's living, breathing, changing all the time. If you're not getting something done, then that action's got to be pushed back. That strategy might need to be changed because you tried it and it didn't work, so you've got to try something else. It needs to be an action plan, not waffle with headings. Once you've got your plan in place, or even before you do your plan, you need to have your team involved. So if you're one of these people that wants to control the planning process, great. But to get your team on board with the plan, you've got to involve them at some step. I'd actually suggest getting your team involved from the start. If you don't want to reveal numbers and figures to your team, don't. But what you can do in terms of those broader objectives, strategies, actions, they're the guys that are at the coalface. They're the people that you really need to be asking this stuff of, because if you're running your business right, you're 3 parts removed. You think you know what needs to be done. You want to control it because you've got control freak tendencies. But the fact of the matter is that your team are the ones that know what's going on. And once you get to the end of all of this planning, you need to look at how you're going to protect what you've built. So that's where we work on things like asset protection, as well as understanding your structure of your business, insurances, having things like partnership agreements, cross insurances, a whole range of things to protect what you've built. Protecting your IP in your business is another big one. Here's an example I was just talking about with the team. This was Keith. He ran an independent grocery store in northern New South Wales. We ran a strategic planning day with Keith and his wife. We went through a growth plan for them for the next 1 to 3 years to help their business, to take them to a time to go get a stage. Now, we ran that on Friday for a full day, and on the Saturday we planned a team session. Oh, I thought this was going to go pear-shaped. North Coast town, the team consisted of half a dozen 16 to 18-year-olds. Saturday morning, the last place they looked like they wanted to be was in a planning session. They walked in, bleary-eyed, disinterested, and I thought, oh, this is going to be tough. Couldn't have been further from the truth. These guys came out with pure gold that morning. They had better ideas, and we achieved more in one morning than we did in a whole day with Keith and his wife. Because these guys were at the coalface, they came up with strategies from dealing with waste, the shop fit out, rostering, etc. Your team will know things that you won't. They'll have the answers that you don't. So use them. They're an asset to you. Use your team. They've got really good ideas to input into your strategic process.